going to be focusing on mobility and warm up. We're going to start with the first exercise.
So all you need is a broomstick, stick or yoga strap. Keeping the body nice and tall, so good posture is important. Taking the stick forwards, up overhead, rotating through the shoulders, back down. Lovely, nice breath. Reversing it, coming all the way through. Usually in a warm-up situation, we like to do about 5 of these before we then bring the hands in closer. If it gets uncomfortable, stop, don't force it. So this is about moving with control. That to me is what mobility is about. It's not about actually forcing you to your end of range, making sure that we are getting the shoulders through their full range without cheating through anything else.
Glenda has got a resistance band under her foot. We're going to warm up our shoulders. We're going to start with some flexion. Make sure that you keep your core engaged and you don't bring your shoulder to your ear. That's not correct. We're going to work with flexion and now abduction, same thing. Keep the core engaged. Do not bring your shoulder to your ear. Now Glenda's going to bend forward, keep her core engaged to do some triceps work. Okay, so we're in a warm-up phase, so we're looking at least 15-20 reps for each exercise. What are we going to do today?
Some shoulder external rotation. So if you watched our first series, we've done a few different variations of this on the reformer with the band already, but it's great for everybody's shoulders. Rehab, no rehab, prepping, it's so good. So what we're doing is external rotation. You'll see the movement happening at the forearm, but really what we're focused on is the ball and socket rotating nicely in the shoulder. So lovely variation, both arms together. You can stabilize with one arm, nice 90 degrees, and then rotate with the other. We're making sure we're not locking the elbow into the side because that'll be using muscles that are pulling through the body. Our muscles targeted in this are our rotator cuff. So a very vital group of muscles around the back of the shoulder, which are hard to see. So we really got to work on feeling. And they're so important in keeping that ball centered so that when we do move, we're not pinching and catching any soft tissue.
Oh yes. So again, for this one, we're looking at 15-20 reps because we're warming up.
Alberta's going to position herself on her belly, ready for an exercise she likes to call back raise. So prepping, keep the belly lifted a little, ribs down. She's going to draw the shoulder blades back and down. This is a really nice one. It helps relax the upper tracts. Great if you're stuck in front of a desk all day long because we're reversing that position and yes, can add little small pulses with the arms. Beautiful little back brace. Lovely. Towel position so you can breathe, otherwise you can hold your head and hover if you like. So give it a go, let us know how you go.
Alright, so Glenda is going to lie down. Make sure that your belly is lifted a little bit so that you're rotating your pelvis. What Glenda is doing, she's got her elbows out, shoulders in contact with your ribs and your body. She's going to lift her elbows, make sure that your forearms are in line with your elbows, and she's going to lift them up to the ceiling. You can also use this variation where you reach forward and then you bend your arms back and bring them down to the floor.
Today's video continues on from the one we just did on our bellies with our lovely flaps, arm flaps. This one, if you are a bit stiff, this is the version that you might need to start with before going to that. So what Alberta would do is she's going to line her body up against the back of a wall. We're just showing you this way so you can actually see what's happening. But line up against the wall.
Like this.
Keep the ribs over the hips, starting with arms in front. Opening up. Those of us who are really stiff might not actually get to the wall. So step number 1 is opening the shoulders wide enough to get to the wall. Then once you're there, sliding the hands up, keeping elbows and hands on the wall at the same time. So same movement as we did on the floor, but for those of us who are a little more stiff and don't have as much mobility, this is a great starting point so that you feel more comfortable. This one is called thoracic rotation in kneeling. So starting shoulders directly over the wrist, hips over the knee. Elbows gently turning in towards each other. Alberta's going to lift up one hand, place it behind her neck. lifting up, guiding through the elbow, but really thinking about rotating through that upper back. Reason this one's so important is our shoulders and upper back are actually paired. So to get full shoulder range of motion, we need a mobile upper back. So working one in isolation without the other, it's just sort of getting half a job done. So yeah, rotation's nice, both sides. Again, 10 to 15 reps would be nice to get some good movement through the upper back.
This time we're talking about the wrist, because if we're using our shoulders, the wrist has to be warmed up and it has to be strong enough to support us, isn't it?
A lot of the exercises we've done, if you haven't noticed, although we're focusing on the shoulder, have involved the wrist.
Exactly right. So Glenda is going to stand with knees a little bit soft but still legs engaged, engaging the core, and she's going to keep her elbow in line with her shoulder. Good. She's going to bring her elbow and forearm to the side, watching that line, and then bring that weight up to the ceiling.
So this can also be done with a kettlebell, focusing on that nice wrist in neutral, not letting it wiggle.
Yes. Thank you very much for watching this new series with us. We're going to come back soon with other videos.